If you're a musician or a creative trying to get into the gig space, I want to share with you an interview or conversation, more like it, that I had with Adrian Silas or Silas Beats, where we discuss he went from transitioning from full-time work into being a full-time freelancer, primarily giving services on Fiverr. So this is for people who want to get into Fiverr. So I'm going to head over to the interview, and I hope you found this informative. And if you like this kind of content, do leave it in the comments saying, Skill, please carry on making this kind of content, and I'll try get more people to have interviews with. Let's head to the interview. So we're here with Silas Beats again, the creative, the one and only. What's up, Silas? How you doing, bro?
What's up, Skill? Good. How are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm good, bro. It's been a minute, so let's tackle something that really been interesting for me. Before we do that, though, do you want to introduce yourself? Who's Silas Beats? What does Silas Beats do? Just for the people that don't know what
Nah,
Silas does.
nah,
None of that, bro. None of that.
no. Silas Beats, Adrian Silas. As you mentioned, creative, lots of different passions. Majority of it's surrounding music, so it's music composition for film and TV. I'm also a voiceover artist and video spokesperson, and I guess we'll be speaking more about that.
Yes. The what I want to tackle mostly is you transitioned from like working a 9 to 5 job. I know you're a physiotherapist, sorry. And then you transitioned you transitioned into working more or less full time in the creative space. Can you just explain how you went from what you were doing before and what you're currently doing, where you're doing it, just the transition of your career to where you are now?
Okay, so this is actually the second time that I tried this. So back in 2017, 2016, I sort of I didn't get fed up with work. I kind of saw an alternative way of living where I didn't necessarily have to work all the time. So I told myself, let's get 3 months where the salary matches whatever it is. Well, the money from music matched my salary. So I did it 3 times in a row and I was like, perfect. Proof of concept, let's go. So in 2017, I left my job. That was a roller coaster. That was wild. It worked and then it didn't, and then it worked again, and then I found myself back in the same job. So when I came back, it was 2019. 2 years had passed, and I was like, nah, I'm coming back to like cake up and then leave again.
Okay.
So obviously 2019, 2020 was the pandemic, and then from there we went. I was like, yo, I can't really just leave right now. Things aren't looking so great. And then I managed to get it towards the end of that year. I had a promotion at work, and that promotion held me for 3 more years. Not contractually, just I was like, hey, why not just hang around a bit? And that's when I then decided to make the move again. But this time it was out of frustration. Like I was sick and tired of doing the work I was doing. I was basically working, you're right, as a physiotherapist, physical therapist. But then I moved into management, thinking that more money would have been better for me. But the issue
That's
with
where
that
the
is
soul
that I
leaves, bro.
stopped treating patients. Exactly.
Yeah.
I stopped treating patients, and it was paperwork. I was pushing documents, going to meetings. I was like, this is not fun. Then there was one day I was sitting in a meeting. I was depressed. I was sad, and I was angry. And I remember thinking to myself, today's the day I'm done. I spoke to my supervisor at the halftime of that meeting. I spoke to the supervisor, and I'm like, it's happening. They're like, you're leaving. I'm like, yep. So then from there, I plotted my way out. Mind you, Fiverr only came about in 2022. The whole plan was surrounding music and music composition before that. But on one of the days, I sat with an artist, longtime collaborator. He whipped out his laptop and he was like, look, bro, I've been using this platform. And I was like, what? What's going on here? And I saw he's been making money. I'm like, man, what's this thing? So then I went home
It's
and I
nice
checked
to
it
have
out.
friends who are making money somewhere else. You're like, someone has proved the concept for me.
Exactly. That's what I told them. That's what did it for me. That's actually what did it. Because, I sometimes tell people the story and they're like, oh, okay. But then when I whip out my Fiverr profile and I'm like, this is actually what's happened, then they're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
possible.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, so he showed me. I went home. Initially, I went onto the platform to do mixing and mastering, but then
yeah,
I saw some voiceover artists there, and I
yeah.
thought, hey, I had done some samples a few years before.
Okay.
I took those samples, uploaded them, and then what's funny is like 2 weeks later, the algorithm, it takes some time for the algorithm of the marketplace to pick you
Wait,
up.
wait, wait, wait.
And
Aiden, you're rushing. Wait, wait. You've gone too far. You still at work, right? Where
let's
are you
go
in the
back.
timeline? Are you working now still and then developing your Fiverr platform? Okay, okay, just to get the timeline. Okay. So you didn't
Yeah.
leave work and then start the Fiverr. You started the
Nah.
Fiverr so you were figuring out the mechanics while you still had a steady income. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yes, yes. Sorry,
Okay.
I went forward and then I jumped back.
Yeah, okay. Carry on.
Yeah,
Carry on with the timeline then.
yeah. Okay, cool. So where I was, like you're saying, I was still working my 9 to 5,
Yeah,
plotting my way out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's when I had spoken to that guy. I started setting things up, and then that's when I started getting voiceover jobs.
Okay.
And then they started coming through slowly and then really quickly. I
Yeah.
wasn't charging much, and yeah, from there it grew so organically. It's like I
Okay.
just kept on getting jobs, and then I just increased my price a bit, carried on getting jobs,
Yeah.
increased my price a bit, yeah, until eventually it was like night and day there
Yeah.
between Fiverr and what I was getting as a physio manager. I was
Okay.
like, yeah,
Okay.
no, the runway will be good. At least I know that I'll get my. It's almost like not retainer work, but it's like it was more predictable. I had trends, and I was like, this is plenty of cash. Now I can
Yeah.
leave properly.
Okay. Okay. And then the were you making roughly the same amount of money as your 9 to 5, or was it enough to know that even like how did you decide, okay, this is good enough for me to stop working? The transition, like there had to be a transition, or what decision
Fiverr,
was made? What was your okay, I can leave now moment? How did you decide that I can leave now moment? Work that is.
well, that had nothing to do with money. That was just
Okay.
sheer frustration, bro. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then
Yeah,
when you
that was just sheer frustration. I was sick and tired of just being at work.
yeah, okay, okay. And then how much like was music still supplementing, or what is the backbone of the current business structure? Like what is making what's keeping everything afloat out of all, because you've got various things that you are doing. Like what would you say is keeping the ship afloat per se?
Mm, well, it's a combination, and this is why things worked out so well. Because
Yeah,
initially, I was working like either short-term money, mid-term money, long-term money.
yeah,
Um, Mid-term money was being covered with like projects. So like recording, mixing, mastering, beat
yeah,
sales, that was mid-term cash. Long-term cash we know was sync, and sync
yeah,
was doing well. Mid-term was doing well, but the issue was I still myself in unpredictable months,
yeah,
and that's what scared me. Where I'm like, hey, am I going to be able to do stuff now?
yeah,
Also, at that point, I had a kid, a wife, a bond, and like
yeah,
life was
yeah,
lifing, so there was a lot happening. So I couldn't have that. What Fiverr did was it bridged the short-term income gap,
yeah, yeah.
and
So
it did that. So
it's almost like they say the struggle in most businesses is cash flow. So it was helping with the cash flow problem. You're getting more
exactly.
immediate money, short-term money to help get you to when because sync comes every 6 months roughly. Samro comes every
Mm,
4 months, but only one of them is really sizable. So that's the tricky
mm.
part with the business. You actually are in charge of the cash flow.
Yeah, and that's the
Okay.
thing that sinks. Like that's the thing that will sink most people. So if I can give perspective, Fiverr was bringing in 65 to 70% of my physio salary.
Okay.
But then the midterm music was also bringing in 70%.
Yeah. So you're
And
already over
then
that.
and then sync was also bringing in about 70%.
Okay. Yeah. So
You
then
see,
altogether, then you're well over.
all together. But I needed the problem was timing. that short-term thing was what was scary. So when Fiverr came through, it filled in that gap in the beginning. So I had that cash flow. It was no longer an issue like, I'm going to be finished this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my business is like that now. It's like it's a little income, but it doesn't cover the day to day. And then once every 3 or 4 months, then I get a big one, and then it's
A
whoop
spike.
down again.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
spike. So
Yeah.
my business right now, it's a very much a cash flow issue. So if I were to try, or anyone, Silas, if anyone were to try to get into Fiverr, how would you suggest them to do it? Since you've already traveled the waters per se, how would you advise
Yeah.
someone to get into Fiverr? Almost in a step-by-step way, preferably.
um, so I think before I say that, it's probably important to say that I got in just before the mad rush. There was a
Oh,
mad rush to Fiverr that happened. And that kind of, it changed things because before the mad rush, I was able to do things at my own pace and
yeah,
slowly develop my profile. I could fumble around a little bit here and there and still get work. Whereas
yeah,
now there's a lot of people there offering garbage services.
yeah.
So I
Wait,
would
hold on,
say
Silas.
for
Silas, I
someone
just
who,
realized. Wait. Can you explain what Fiverr is first? No, I just realized not everyone knows what Fiverr
yeah,
is.
knows, yeah. So Fiverr is a freelance marketplace
Yeah, what's
where
that?
where you can sell and purchase services, usually services. So
Yeah,
example, you need video editing. You're a
yeah,
content creator and you need video editing. You go to Fiverr,
yeah,
and then what they'll do is it will list all the people. You type in what you want, it will list different people who can do that for you. Then you
yeah,
can vet and you can check to see based on people's samples and their portfolio,
yeah,
whether or not you want to work with them. You can then negotiate, you set your own prices. Now, the whole concept of Fiverr was all the jobs in the beginning used to be
for
$5.
$5. Yeah,
So whatever you wanted to get was $5, but then it wasn't sustainable.
yeah,
Um, Certain jobs were a lot more, and certain jobs, nothing was really less than $5. But then what they did is they opened that up. So they kept the name, but the concept was a bit different in that now, as a seller, I could charge what I wanted. And as a buyer, I could pay for the value that I wanted.
yeah,
So it's a web-based platform. It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, alongside Upwork.
yeah,
And the whole magic behind it is that they've got a lot of people using it for
yeah,
both selling and buying. So it's a massive marketplace. Some of the
yeah,
smaller marketplaces, they're a little bit more niche or whatever, but the problem is you don't have as many people walking on, like coming onto the website
yeah,
to make use of the services. Yeah.
yeah,
So for someone who wants to get onto a platform like that, I would still say Fiverr is a good place to be. Same
yeah,
with Upwork. But the service that you're going to come with is going to dictate what the heck is going to happen. You can't come through with, like, basically, there's a lot of there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that say, yo, get onto Fiverr, do these 3 things, and you're going to make like a lot of money. There's a
yeah,
lot of,
yeah,
like, a lot. That was when the
yeah.
mad rush happened. And unfortunately, like, if you do that, if it's easy for you to do, everybody else is going to be
Everyone
doing
else
it
is,
as well.
yeah,
So exactly. So if you have a service that you can offer, come to the platform and look to see if anybody else is offering it. You don't want to be in a completely blue ocean, meaning no one is
yeah,
doing it
what's
and you're
that?
the only person doing it.
Yeah,
And at the same time, you want to avoid red ocean. So the reddest ocean on Fiverr became copywriting. So writing articles, writing
yeah,
copy, writing websites. Just because when ChatGPT came along, it just overran
yeah.
everything.
That
Yeah,
anything that's easy to generate ChatGPT or similar
yeah.
AI, or specifically ChatGPT now because everyone knows about it, those will be
Mhm.
flooded.
Yeah, so those ones fell to the wayside. Even the content creators who were making bank
Yeah,
on Fiverr, I don't hear from any of them anymore. They're probably doing niche work. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just what happened. Who else really got in and tried to do things? Like faceless YouTube channels.
yeah.
a lot of those popped up from Fiverr. So groups of people, like agencies, would come and collect a voiceover artist, collect script writer, collect a small little team off of Fiverr, and then work with them, and then pay them a small amount, or even promise them ad rev at the end of the day. And they started just churning out a lot of this content. And then what happened is voiceover became a little bit easier to do with AI. So then they kicked out the voiceover, they brought the AI voiceover. Script writing was then done by GPT. So basically your faceless channel was just self-generated. One person could do it. Yeah. So now that's now become really low tier work on that platform. You can still get work, but you're going to be scrambling and you're going to be fighting with people in parts of the world where they don't mind getting $5.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've found with the whole Fiverr space is you're not competing with just people in your region. You're competing with the whole world. And like, realistically, some people $5 is the whole day. Like it's a lot of money, and $5 in other places is not a lot of money. So there's that dynamic. How do you go about setting your prices per se if you know you're competing? Are you setting it by okay, how would you tell someone starting off their pricing strategy? How would you go about setting your pricing strategy? If you have a recommendation.
It needs to, it's a balance. It's a complete balance between not looking like a scam because you're so cheap, and being expensive enough that you can actually do something with the money that comes through. But in the beginning, you're not really looking for, just as a tip, you're not really looking for money in the beginning. So I've had a few people that have gone onto the platform and they're like, yo, man, I've done 5 jobs on Fiverr, but each one only paid me either $5 or $10 or like $10 or $15. This is getting annoying. And I'm like, dude, you have to carry on doing this for at least another 2 to 3 months, maybe even more, because your real currency is reviews.
Yeah.
If you can get some really top tier reviews, then you can move on that platform. Then you can, because even if you do 20 jobs, say you do 100 jobs, and you get 5-star reviews for 60 of those jobs. When you eventually increase your pricing, it's not going to say that you got 60 reviews at a cheap price. It's going to be, it's going to be this person has 60 reviews and they're charging a decent amount. I trust that because there's proof of concept here. So collect the reviews at first while being able to do work at the cheapest rate that you can without feeling sick to your stomach.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. So have you been gradually adjusting your prices? I'm assuming that's probably what you've been doing then. You started, so initially it's not about the price. Initially it's about finding, every niche has some kind of rough price, you know, like I know if because I use a virtual assistant on Fiverr, so I know that there's a low range. If I know it's not something critical, then I get the low range one. But if I need something that's a little more detailed, step by step, then I go for a higher range. So to get your reviews up, that's the main objective initially. It's to get the reviews up, and
that's the only way you can stand out.
Yeah. So you find roughly the minimum and the maximum within your field per se, or your gig, type of gig. And then you kind of probably on the lower end when you start off.
Yeah.
So for virtual assistants, I know it's $5 per an hour or up to $35 per hour. If I were to become a virtual assistant.
That's cheap, bro.
Yeah. I don't go for 35 because I haven't had a task that needs more than $35 an hour. So like, and also the people, like, depending on the region, some places are cheap, you know. So I know if I'm in the Asian, if I need such certain type of work, I go to the Asian region. If I need certain type of work, there's some African ones I use, and then if I need certain kind of things, I use US based ones or Western. So you'd say find that price and then set it probably close to the bottom tier when you're starting off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I would say do that. Like I said in the beginning, it's not necessarily for cash. If that, like, yeah, in the beginning, let me just say straight, it's really, the game is not about earning money, it's about getting those reviews. I would say because I'm in South Africa, it does make things a bit easier because for some reason we're very well placed.
Time zone wise, yes.
Time zone wise, but then also work from South Africans, and you can communicate with us easily.
Yeah. Yes.
So language is not you're not fighting an accent.
Yes.
You're not yeah, it's weird. We're in this weird place in between everything. And then the other thing is that we're cheap. So
Yeah.
a South African who's if there's an equivalent of me living in the States, I probably would have gotten sick of Fiverr because that money wouldn't have helped me for a very long time. But very quickly, we see the strength between the dollar and the rand. Even if it is like a $70 job, and it did take me a little bit of time, that's something I can do something with that money. Like it's not nothing.
Yeah.
That's groceries. It's something I can do something with.
Yeah.
So I have to mention that for someone who's maybe not necessarily placed in South Africa, that I did have that as an advantage.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier on, because based on where you're living, the amount you set may look cheap for if you look at everyone's gig, but since you are in, let's say, South Africa or somewhere else in Africa, the $5 goes a lot further. Whereas here in the US, for example, $5 is lower than the recommended minimum wage even. So you'd get nowhere with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You won't move with that.
So how was the trajectory then? Once you finally started, like how long did it take once you started seeing, okay, there's nice cash flow now, I can leave work, and then how has it been going? Have you been getting more gigs, or have you been getting less gigs but more high paying gigs? Like how's the midterm been looking?
Yeah. Okay. So I started in May 2022, and by the end of that year, I was I think I'd matched my salary at that point. Not matched it, like I'd had months where I was getting quite close to it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at 8 months.
Okay. That's pretty quick actually.
Well, within 7 to 8 months was where I saw things looking really, really good. But at that point, the crappy thing about what I was doing was that it was a lot of jobs. Like I was doing maybe 45 gigs jobs
For what?
per month.
Yeah. And like
That's
at the
it
end of
was
the
a lot
day,
of work. Like it was a
it's
lot.
work. You're working now.
Yeah.
Like assuming
Yeah.
each gig is at
It was
least an
work.
hour, like but you got the flexibility of when to do it, where to do it, how to do it. Right?
I know at that time I was still working, remember?
Yeah, so you had to work after work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then once you finally stopped working, how was that shift? Because technically you're earning double now. Your Fiverr money and then the work money. At that time, you were earning double. Wasn't it a shock then when you got rid of half of it?
No, because I wasn't used. Like you have to keep. At least I thought about that. Like I looked at it, and the plan was always to leave. Yeah, the plan was always to leave. So it was like I'm getting extra cash now. Plus I was burning all the way. Bro, you've got a newborn in the house. I had this baby, like a baby in the house. I worked a full day's worth of work, and then I would at the end of everything at like 10 p.m. I would start voiceover work. My voice is shot. I just want to sleep. So I was happy to.
Yeah, you're happy to get out. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
So I busted out, and yeah.
You actually you didn't say which gigs you do on Fiverr or which jobs you do. Like you do voiceover work, mixing, mastering.
Yeah.
And then what else are you doing?
So it was started out with mixing, mastering. That really didn't take off. Even now, I only get jobs for that every now and again. Yeah. Voiceover is bread and butter. That's pretty much every week, maybe 1 or 2 jobs come in. Mind you, the amount of jobs I do now is so much less. Then video spokesperson work, which is effectively presenting in front of a camera on behalf of another company. Yeah, so they'll say, look, we need to do we need to talk about whatever topic it is with relation to our company, or it'll be a health topic, or it'll be a campaign, or like a green screen video, or like UGC content as well.
Yeah. It's actually, it's probably nice because you kind of do have audio. You've been working with audio, probably not mainly your voice, but like you've built up enough preliminary skills to know how to tweak your voice per se, mix your voice.
That's the whole reason this thing was so easy for me. Like even cutting vocals, even cutting my voiceover vocals was, you and I, you know how it is. You sit here, you're cutting vocals all the time, so it was easy.
Easy. Okay. Are you thinking of expanding into any other type of work, or are you just going to be sticking? What's the plan now with your Fiverr? Future plan? Are you thinking of transitioning to something else, or are you happy with how that system is working? Like, I'm just trying to get a picture of the current system. Because they get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm happy with the ship now, but like eventually you have to upgrade the ship, right? Or downgrade the ship, or the ship has to change because life changes. Is there anything in the pipelines that you're currently working on, even if it's not Fiverr related?
Yeah. So at the beginning we were talking about short, medium term, short-term money, medium-term money, long-term money.
Yeah.
The end goal was always to get the long-term money to be like the main thing, so that when those big payments come through, they're like monstrous. Then the medium-term income was supposed to be, beat sales here and there, maybe some digital products, that type of thing. Then this here was Fiverr took over what physiotherapy was supposed to be, just minus the hours.
Yeah.
So it can function as it is right now because, like, if I look around me and I see how other people are operating, they have to go to a 9 to 5, and that chows their whole day. So I already feel like, in terms of my fulfillment, I already feel like I'm miles ahead because I have my whole day to myself.
Yeah.
So I can do this.
There is something that must be said about having your whole day, deciding what you're going to do today. Mentally, it's just good for your zen, bro. Anyway, carry on.
It is. Yeah. So having that thing, and you mentioned it and we joke, but it's super important because the capacity to then be able to go and do extra stuff afterwards is huge. So the plan then is eventually, like, I don't want to. I tweak my Fiverr every now and again, but I don't want to do too much to it to like try and explode it or try and make it do something very far off, because my main plan is with sync and making music and composing music. So that one can live over there, do its thing while I continue to build up these mid and long-term income streams.
Yeah. So Fiverr is actually using it as a means to just to make the short term so that you can have more time to increase the long term money.
Yes, at my own pace, without
at your pace.
Stressed.
Yeah. The tricky part with the 9 to 5 is after the 9 to 5, the battery gets drained, right? And then so the getting motivated to work on the midterm, and the long-term objectives, there's an extra push that's required, and sometimes it's just not there. To be frank, it's just not there. That's why I do most of my productive things in the morning before going to the 9 to 5, because afterwards it's hit or miss. You don't know how you're gonna feel afterwards, really, depending on how hectic work is.
And for me, bro, my commute was ridiculous. I'd be driving in the morning for maybe an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, just because it was supervisory work. I needed to go and oversee people. So I'm overseeing people, which, when it comes to managing people, that already is a mission. But like getting to the place was about an hour and a half, and then getting back home was an hour to an hour and a half. So
3 hours in traffic,
driving.
So luckily, I've always been setting up myself for the 20-minute commute maximum. I can't do more than 20 because I just hate it. That's why I generally live in relatively small towns, because commuting to me, I just can't. It really grinds me.
Have you ever had a long commute?
No, the longest commute I've had is 20 minutes. And that's if I had a car, it would be 5 minutes most of the time.
Maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
See, that's nice. I think there's something to be said about a short commute, because that it removes a lot of stress from your day. Being on a highway, being on the national highway, first thing in the morning and last thing at the end of the day, it does something. Even if you left work feeling like you navigated the day perfectly,
Yeah.
something crappy could still happen in traffic that drains everything from you. Dude,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
I'll drive just from when I was working in Port Elizabeth or Nadeja now, it would be like not even 3 minutes on the N2, and then you get off. It was just a transition, just to get off. But that was also a 5 minute drive, 10 minute drive.
Hmm.
And if I was using public transport, 15 to 20 minutes.
Max.
But then when I was like 20, it was 2017 was the last time I did that. Yeah, I don't miss that 9 to 5.
You don't miss,
Yeah,
yeah,
nah, dog.
exactly.
Yeah, the current setup now is very flexible. I'm very flexible with time, so I can get in at 10 o'clock, leave at 3. Yeah, I just got a set of tasks that need to be done in the day. Just do them, which is good, and then sometimes I work, like I like writing. I write, so I'll probably write now after this chat. But let's wrap it up, Silas. What
Yeah.
One last question though. We have to add. Last one. I asked you a nice one last time. I want to have a different one though, because it has to be different. Um, what can I ask you to finalize this one? Wait, you've moved on to YouTube. I know this is a segue to the current topic. You've been putting some emphasis on YouTube. Can you just tell us what your YouTube channel is, and what are you doing in that YouTube channel? That'll be the last question.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
bro. I was gonna put something else. I was like, wait, let's plug your YouTube channel instead.
Yeah, man, it's well, I guess it is YouTube and TikTok at the moment. TikTok, I'm going all the way in.
Yeah, I see you
But
busy there
YouTube,
on that TikTok.
yeah, dude. YouTube is Silas Beats.
Hmm.
And it's music, business, education, pretty much what you've been doing. Like you've got
Yeah,
years on me. Like when I do a search, your stuff is
yeah,
like
that's me.
embedded. And it's embedded. If there's one thing I must say, anything to do with the South African music industry, your stuff pops up before the organizations.
Yeah, I've seen
So
that. That's what I was like, okay, I don't know if this is good or
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Like, do
So
people think I'm affiliated?
you're like deep in the system. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to do some of that, but at the same time, it's weird. I'm kind of at the moment just trying to grow a personal brand
yeah,
using my creative exploits. So talking about Fiverr, talking about voiceover, talking about music registration and just music
yeah,
in general, and just trying to grow the biggest audience I can, because I realized that with all the stuff that we've been trying over the past however many years we've been doing, it's almost 2 decades.
yeah.
Everything that we've tried would have been that much easier if there was an audience available.
Yes,
That
I agree.
that's it. Just it's a multiplier at this point. And I'm like, we've had some really good ideas. So
Mm,
instead of trying to like work so hard, like Fiverr's built. My sync career is building. Why
mm,
not just build a personal brand so that when I actually do want to execute on something, say I want to write a book or I want to
yeah,
release something outlandish, the audience already exists. I can be like, guys, what do you think? Does this
yeah,
look like a good thing? Yeah,
yeah,
that's I'm also trying to not overthink it too much. So we can just
yeah.
say for the time being, audience growth and just connecting with people.
More, but it would be more on the creative space, roughly, or is it? Okay. Yeah, the
Yeah.
idea for me too was not having an audience is kind of, you don't have an audience.
Mm,
So you need some way of people to know you. So I was like, well, I kind of know
exactly.
this, so let me just do this. But I remember also when I
Exactly.
started, I was also, my YouTube channel was a mixture of, I was doing some reason tutorials, I was doing the education thing, and then
You
there
were
was something
performing
else.
as well.
Yeah, because I was figuring out what I wanted to share all the time, and then I just COVID hit. I was like, let me just stick to this and just keep on this. Um,
Mm,
but like now I have random people I can that know me because of the YouTube videos. So when I call Samro for a specific person at Samro, they're like, "Oh yeah, I know you. You're the guy with the video," type of thing. Similar with the Capasso.
Oh, that happens.
Yeah, yeah. Like, "Oh yeah, I know you.
Yeah.
You're the guy with the video." Like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
it helps, man. It's that
yeah.
thing of I was joking with a friend that in life, certain people's lives are just easier. Pretty
Hmm.
people, like super, like buff built
Buff, yeah,
guys,
yeah,
yeah, and like rich, obviously, and then
yeah,
famous people. So I was
yeah,
like, surely I can't, like, if I want to try and operate on a mass scale, I need to somehow tap into one of those. So I was like, why don't just build an audience? That just makes
yeah,
life so much easier for you. I mean, you see it all the time. So why
yeah.
not just try and dip into some of that?
You might as well, right? And like you don't know the connections you randomly make. Actually, speaking of,
Mm.
I just randomly got called last week by someone from Landa because of the channel, and they like, "Yo, Landa's been changing things up. Do you want to try Landa Premium for free?" It's like, yeah, sure, why not? So I'm trying Landa for free. Shout
Look
out
at
to
that.
Landa. I'm plugging Landa in
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So
You
and like
see.
building an audience, you kind of need an audience, bro. Unfortunately, today and age, if you want to get to different, you don't know what doors the audience will open, or the fact that you have the audience, you don't know what doors will open because of you having the audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But anyway, that was a giant segue, and this has taken 40 minutes again. Shout out your handles there, Silas. How can people find you online?
It's at Silas Beats on everything, except for TikTok, which is Adrian Silas. But it's fine. SilasBeats.com. Everything is just around this.
All right, that
Silas
sounds good.
brand.
Silas
Yeah.
Beats, Silas Brand. All right, all good there, bro. Let me just stop recording. Yo, I actually thought we weren't recording. Hope you found this informative, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and help it grow. Until next time.